Okay, so when I was a young child, and that wasn't very long ago, my sister and I used to lay on the grass on those hot summer evenings and look up at the stars and just try to imagine what our future would look like. And boy, did we miss the mark, how the future has really changed. And when I was young, I could have never imagined that you could travel somewhere through a screen, or that you could teach children on the other side of the country or on the other side of the world through the computer, or even have a cell phone that you can use and have with you at any time. Because when I was younger, we had a three-way party line. I never thought that we would ever have anything different than that. Or to be able to cook foods faster than what we did in the oven. And I can remember when the microwave came out, my parents refused to buy one at first because my dad was convinced that we would have radiation poisoning. So, and now we have Instapot. So it just keeps getting better and better every year. And to be able to have a gadget on my hand that I can receive notifications of emails, or to be able to look at pictures that I've actually taken that day instead of taking the film in and waiting a week for it to get processed. So, the things that we used these for when I was younger was like beam me up Scotty. I mean, we never thought about that there would be something that you could talk about or talk on in the future. So as I was pondering this one day, I thought, am I really preparing the students in my classroom for the future? And probably not. But I want to give them the ability to find the skills they need for that future. And so as I was looking for something to write the ARI grant for, I had to find it for K through 6 because I'm a STEAM teacher at my school. And so I started looking at the science standards, and I discovered that space is kind of woven in throughout every grade. And it may not be that they are talking about the solar system or rotation and revolution, but they may be talking about shadows or weather patterns, but it's all the same. It's all dealing with space. So when I wrote the ARI grant, I wanted to turn my classroom into an augmented reality space. And so I was able to order backdrops from floor to ceiling that turned my classroom into a space shuttle. So every day that my students enter my classroom, we are taking a trip to space. And if you came into my classroom right now, because we just recently started this unit, you would see my kids taking augmented reality rover drives across Mars and collecting samples to do experiments with. Or you could see students doing augmented reality, taking a space shuttle ride with Cosmo, or building Lego robotics and talking about artificial intelligence, or building space shuttles, space stations, or even, it's in and out, okay, or even, I'm trying to think of some of the other things, using pinhole boxes in my classroom, or coding Kojis, or spearbots, or using ollies as rovers to travel across the terrain of the moon. So they're using all different kinds of things in my room, and they're so engaged, and that is what I want them to experience. I want them to see all the things that are out there now in the present. And I know that I'm educating them for the world today, but I'm hoping that that will spark them to think outside the box for what the future world looks like and what they could possibly do. Because, they're talking about in the next 10 years, we're going to colonize the moon and onto the Mars. So do I have that student sitting in my classroom that's going to be that civilian that goes to the moon and lives, or goes to Mars and lives? Or do I have that student that's going to be that engineer to actually create that module for those people to live? I don't know. I just want to give them as much experience as I can so that they can prepare or think outside the box for the future. Any questions?